Hi, my name is Tracy Gibson, and I'll be speaking about marijuana and nicotine and the effects. Um, as far as like, there's really no real advertisement these days and times as far as like marijuana, and you barely see any cigarette commercials. Most of the commercials you see tell you about the effects of using nicotine and how damaging it could be after so long. So it definitely encourages the non smokers as well as the ones who already have started smoking to quit. What I thought about while going over this chapter was that everything in this life comes full circle. There is no new drug or substances um, under the sun. Knowing that drugs and substances come in and out of trend is mind blowing to me because with all the technical advances of today, why is history continuing to repeat itself? Most drugs, like marijuana, for example, are popular amongst individuals between teens and mid 20s. Drugs and substances affect us at our prime, which was another interesting fact, a fact that most individuals can relate to. That's usually around the time that we get introduced to these things and made aware of the cause and effects. I see how influence plays a major role in children's lives, and as a parent, I can only hope my voice is louder than their peers. Children today have the world at their fingertips, social media and reality TV playing a major role as well, with TV glorifying like substances amongst other things. Um, Children, to me, are being groomed to adapt to these habits as a way of life. Um, you can, it's not even a matter anymore of whether it's cool or not being seen as a way of life. It's just scary because every channel we turn to, everything we watch, like you can't even watch anything without a person having a glass of alcohol in their hand. Um, for instance, it was this show that I watched with my oldest daughter called 13 Reasons Why. Throughout this series, these high schoolers were doing all kinds of drugs throughout the show. I believe children should be made aware of these realities, but more importantly, taught how to handle themselves when these situations come about. This show, however, no parent was made aware of the issues that were going on. No child came to their parents about the substance, drugs, and other things that were going on. That's a problem. One of the messages could have been interpreted as it's okay not to say anything or speak up. Um, Another issue I had was that there's a pill for everything, agreeing that some individuals do need medication, but not everyone, especially not for everything. As a society, I think we've grown weaker as far as dealing with certain issues or circumstances that come with life. Life can be tough, but what about learning to cope? I feel like we're not helping our children cope or teaching them how to cope and not letting it consume you. Like, we don't teach that anymore. Pills are looked at as a quick fix when we have natural relief all around us. Although the city and state push these things, I feel like we don't push other remedies enough as far as like herbal medicine and learning natural remedies. Um, Anxiety and stress are real. Depression is very real. I'm not debating that aspect, but society has it so an individual doesn't have to let their body fight off a common cold on their own. I don't know. I think society is becoming soft. Um, Why aren't pills looked at as a gateway drug? Like lithium having more side effects than helpful. Most of these medications need other medications to balance an individual out. There are some studies that show that different countries have other methods as a go to as far as healing. Looking at these different types of healings, like spiritual and natural herbal methods that I talked about before, people have come back from these countries cured. Places like Cuba, Indonesia, India have therapeutic sites that specialize in natural healing. Um, According to the National Institute of Drug Abuse for Teens, drug use is down as of 2018. Marijuana use is about the same compared to 10 years ago. So basically, marijuana has stayed steady. Um, More than 43,000 students in grades 8 through 12, marijuana increased amongst them 24%. Vaping of nicotine, marijuana with flavoring has increased since 2017 to 17%. Cigarettes have declined since 2017 by 71% amongst teens and youth. So the nicotine level is declining, but what are they picking up? Vaping. I don't. Most of them are not even made aware that vaping is the same thing as smoking. It still has nicotine. It just has a lesser dosage. Um, but they're actually consuming more because you're socializing, and what are you doing? You steady pulling and vaping. Recently, I set out to learn more spiritual forms of healing and herbal medicine. First, learning basic common cold herbal remedies, and currently studying other forms of medicine naturally, with utilizing vegetables, leaves, and different ingredients in our local grocers, hoping to pass down these things to my own children. Um, Many people growing up in foster care system miss out on knowing where they come from and learning about their own culture. I do believe a person's environment has an effect on their behavior and how they handle certain drugs and certain substances. Um, Not knowing your family history, which I personally see as a problem, because one person can try cocaine and get addicted just like that. Another person can try cocaine and it doesn't even affect them at all. But knowing your history makeup, knowing the sensitivities to drugs in general, alcohol and things like that is needed because it affects us differently. Um, that's why we have to be careful in what we're prescribed, um, and just pay attention and be aware of the effects, the dangers, and talk about the dangers. We've gotten away from speaking about it amongst in our household. It's not enough just for the social media. It's not enough just for the informative commercials. You have to talk about it. And thank you for listening. And that's my take.